This nature documentary takes us to the harsh edge of existence. Beneath the waves of South Africa lies a frozen, unforgiving abyss. Here, survival dictates constant, grueling motion just to continue breathing. Above her, the oblivious island residents begin their own morning routines. Every breath requires immense muscular effort in these freezing ocean temperatures. In False Bay, morning arrives not with warmth, but with grey shadows. Early risers must navigate a deadly gauntlet to find their breakfast. Those obsidian eyes miss nothing, constantly scanning the silver ceiling overhead. This marine ecosystem is a bustling highway of giants passing through silently. But our protagonist has no interest in these tiny, insignificant morsels. Seal Island offers a brief refuge from the turbulent, unforgiving open ocean. Navigating the turbulent wash zone requires immense, unyielding muscular control and stability. A single sweep of this tail generates astonishing, relentless forward propulsion. Down in the darkness, other predators quickly yield to the true ruler. She drifts through the debris, a ghost haunting the murky depths below. Bizarre neighbors share her domain, entirely ignored by her singular, deadly focus. A terrifying glimpse of the tools required for a successful vertical ambush. These specialized sensory pores can detect the faint heartbeat of distant prey. The dense kelp forest provides necessary cover from aggressive, unpredictable ocean currents. She hovers effortlessly, conserving precious energy before the violent trials ahead today. Even an apex predator must contend with the annoying obstacles of nature. Leaving the bottom dwellers behind, she moves steadily toward the hunting zone. That iconic dorsal fin is a chilling symbol of absolute evolutionary perfection. By sunrise, the chaotic theater of Seal Island is fully wide awake.
The predator maps the shifting territory, observing the frantic silhouettes above her.
Sudden intrusions from diving seabirds temporarily break the tense, underwater, silent concentration. The surface is too bright. She retreats to the safety of shadows. Precision aerodynamics allow her massive, heavy frame to sink without expanding effort. Dolphins pass quickly, fully aware of the Grim Reaper patrolling below them. She must constantly maintain thermoregulation while battling the exhausting, freezing ocean currents. Irritating parasites are a relentless torment in this otherwise pristine marine wilderness. Smaller scavengers quickly learn that this prime hunting territory is heavily guarded. Those unmistakable serrated teeth are perfectly designed for sheer, catastrophic tissue damage. A solitary Cape Fur seal makes a terrified dash for the surface. It is too early to strike. Patience is the ultimate predatory virtue. The vast, chilling expanse of this ocean demands absolute respect and endurance. She navigates blindly through clouds of organic debris, blocking all forward visibility. Every scar tells a brutal story of past hunts and violent struggles. Even our apex predator pauses respectfully when a massive bride's whale passes. The sheer displacement of water forces her to safely adjust her path. Regaining her balance in the turbulent, murky depths requires immense structural power. She chooses the absolute darkness, a comforting realm where she remains unseen. In this freezing abyss, patience is her most terrifying and effective weapon. As morning progresses, she begins her calculated, methodical patrol around the island. Her dark gray topside provides the ultimate camouflage against the rocky seabed. Diving cormorants signal that the surface waters are teeming with chaotic life. A false start. The angles were wrong. The prey was too fast. She will wait for the shadows of twilight to unleash her fury. The shifting tides transform the underwater landscape into a treacherous, roaring wind tunnel. Battling these intense ocean currents requires a terrifying output of pure muscular energy.
Smaller fish are violently swept away, lacking the mass to hold their ground.
She tactically retreats from the strongest flow, opting to preserve her vital stamina. Constant, microscopic biological adjustments are required to simply remain upright in this turbulence. While giant mammals rise to breathe, the great fish sinks to conserve energy. The deep sandy flats offer a brief respite from the chaotic hunting grounds. Oxygen is life, and processing it efficiently dictates her ultimate survival today. In a realm defined by relentless motion, utter stillness is incredibly rare. The tension in her muscles betrays her calm exterior. She is always ready. By midday, the heavy, overcast sky plunges the ocean into a tense gloom. The apex predator is suddenly forced to hide from a far greater danger. The dreaded orca threat commands absolute submission, even from the ocean's fiercest hunters. Her natural camouflage is her only shield against the highly intelligent marine wolves. She remains frozen until the terrifying sonic pings fade completely into silence. With the danger past, the grueling patrol around Seal Island must immediately resume. Midday tides in False Bay test the absolute physical limits of every inhabitant. Above the surface, the weather offers absolutely no sympathy for the exhausted. Unseen hydrodynamic walls force her to burn critical calories just to navigate. Exhaustion begins to set in. Survival is a marathon with no finish line. The murky depths are flooded with suspended detritus, blinding all visual hunters completely.
Stripped of sight, she relies entirely on the electromagnetic sensors in her snout.
The harsh rocks provide the only relief from relentless, maddening biological hitchhikers. Like an apparition, the apex predator materializes seamlessly out of the murky void. A single drop of blood miles away triggers a complex, terrifying sensory cascade. The crushing, freezing depths are beginning to take a severe physical toll today. She must ascend temporarily. Critical thermoregulation is necessary to prevent complete muscular failure. Reinvigorated, she abandons the surface. True hunters belong exclusively in the shadows. The midday lull has officially ended. The relentless hunt is back on. From this deep vantage point, every surface animal is a perfectly contrasted silhouette. She uses the sheer vertical cliff faces to mask her massive approaching bulk. The agonizing weight builds a palpable, terrifying tension within the massive predator.
To venture beyond the rocky shelf is to invite the absolute unknown.
These terrifying jaws have remained painfully empty since the cold dawn broke.
The ocean giants share the space, completely indifferent to each other's immense power. She returns to the dense forest edge, preparing for the impending shift. Nothing in this environment can halt her sheer, unrelenting physical forward momentum.
Finally, she locks into the terrifying vertical posture required for the ultimate strike.
Now, the grueling wait for the afternoon light to fade truly begins. As afternoon progresses, the seals grow dangerously active above the murky depths.
The fading light signals that her ultimate advantage is finally returning. The island residents are completely oblivious to the terror rising from below. Every trajectory is calculated with lethal, flawless mathematical precision.
She selects her target, ignoring all other chaotic distractions in the water. Smaller prey is ignored entirely. The energy expenditure demands a substantial reward.
She navigates the obstacle course with the terrifying agility of a torpedo. The time for lethargic patience is over. Pure acceleration is now required.
It is the brutal prelude to the ocean's most famous breaching behavior. Her entire biological system redlines, converting oxygen into explosive, unstoppable kinetic energy.
The oblivious surface dwellers have no idea the abyss is rushing upward.
She threads the needle through drifting debris, maintaining terrifying absolute momentum. This vertical corridor is nature's most flawlessly designed and terrifying kill zone.
A 1-ton biological missile, propelled entirely by thousands of pounds of muscle.
The jaws unhinge slightly, preparing to unleash absolute, catastrophic sheer force.
A sudden, erratic change in the seal's trajectory completely ruins the angle.
She immediately aborts, using her massive pectoral fins as heavy emergency brakes. Wasting energy on a failed chase is a fatal error in this harsh environment.
She must retreat immediately to reset the trap and recover her breath.
Frustration does not exist here, only cold, calculated, relentless predatory persistence.
Returning to the absolute bottom is necessary to mask her enormous silhouette entirely. She positions herself perfectly into the current to rapidly reoxygenate her exhausted blood. The freezing flow of False Bay brings vital life back into her muscles. Utter stillness descends, a terrifying calm before the ultimate violent storm erupts. Every biological system is primed, heavily oxygenated, and locked onto the surface. The fading golden hour triggers a deadly shift in the marine ecosystem dynamics.
Panic begins to ripple instinctively through the smaller, vulnerable baitfish below.
She uses the diminishing light to mask her massive, dark gray silhouette perfectly.
This is the ultimate, grueling vertical ambush. and there is absolutely no turning back. The tail generates terrifying propulsion, pushing a 1-ton biological machine straight upward. She crosses the threshold into the Twilight Zone, vanishing from the visible world.
Distractions are irrelevant now. The apex predator is locked onto a singular objective.
Blind in the gloom, she visualizes the entire battlefield through pure electromagnetic resonance.
And the vertical ambush is set. The trap is completely invisible from above.
A panicked vibration from the surface signals the arrival of the final target.
A lone Cape fur seal crosses directly into the apex predator's lethal airspace. The surface remains hauntingly calm, completely masking the incredible violence surging directly underneath. The jaws unhinge fully, extending forward to maximize the sheer, brutal bite radius. These terrifying rows of serrated daggers ensure that any impact is immediately fatal. The vertical ambush requires absolute commitment, burning hours of conserved energy instantly. At the last possible second, the frantic prey realizes its fatal error entirely.
Ooh, she is no longer just a fish. She is a terrifying, guided, kinetic weapon.
The jaw protrudes outward independently, guaranteeing a horrific, inescapable grip on the target. The eyes roll back blindly, protecting vital organs during the catastrophic, violent collision. In these final milliseconds, sheer speed and immense weight dictate the brutal outcome. The ocean's surface stretches, entirely unable to contain the rising monstrous force below.
The water completely shatters as the heavy predator violently erupts into our world. The trap slams shut, a catastrophic lock with absolutely no chance of escape. Over a ton of sheer biting force is delivered instantly upon violent impact.
For one breathtaking, terrifying second, the entire turbulent marine ecosystem holds its breath.
This is breaching behavior, the terrifying, gravity-defying climax of the arduous daily hunt. Caught entirely mid-air, the desperate seal is hopelessly locked within an inescapable grip. A 1-ton monster suspended in the dusty twilight, a breathtaking display of raw power.
Even the water itself is violently expelled by the sheer, unbridled kinetic force.
Gravity finally reclaims the victor, violently crashing her heavy bulk back down. The chaotic eruption ends as quickly as it began, leaving only fading ripples.
The arduous daily survival journey culminates in this single, brutal, successful execution.
She descends gracefully back into the terrifying darkness, a true master of her domain. The apex predator rests, waiting patiently for the cold dawn to break again.